Mr. O'Malley.
Miss Lynn approached Mr. O'Malley's worn desk. The air in the small office felt tight, her heart pounded. She had practiced this many times in her head. Still, she had to speak.
We need to discuss the allowance. This $11, it is not enough. It is never enough, Shazi. You give us excuses. Always excuses. What can we buy? Soap? Toothpaste? This is an insult, Mr. O'Malley. A deliberate, calculated insult to us all.
$11. The sum hung there, a paltry, insulting figure. He looked up, annoyance flickered.
How could he not see? Or did he choose not to?
The government, the budget, the rules, lies, designed to keep them small, powerless. She would not be powerless today, not with $11. It forced choices, impossible choices, hygiene or a piece of fruit, hope or despair.
A moment of dignity? A small comfort? No. This is an insult, Mr. O'Malley. A deliberate, calculated insult to us all.
She needed him to understand, to feel it.
Now, Miss Lynn, there are regulations, you know. It's the government, see? They set the amount, not me, not key point. My hands are tied.
Mr. O'Malley leaned back. His chair creaked. He ran a hand over his thinning hair, his Boston accent, thick, authoritative, trying to be, but something else, a flicker. Was it fear, deep down?
You ought to be careful, Miss Lynn. Making waves, it ain't good for nobody. This is the system. It is what it is. $11. That's the policy. We do what we can with what we're given.
The same old song, the same tired dance. He thought her a simple woman. He was wrong. He spread his hands, a gesture of helplessness, false helplessness. He was a cog, just a small, blameless cog. Or so he wanted her to believe. He offered a weak smile, but his eyes held a different story. A story of small power, wielded carefully. He always decided, who got what. He shifted, uncomfortable under her gaze, her unwavering, accusing stare. He was telling her to be quiet, to submit, to accept the crumbs they offered, but she knew systems could be fought, changed. He tried to sound reasonable, patient, but the fear was there. Underneath the bluster, she saw it, she knew it. His authority was a fragile thing, built on their silence.
Careful? You tell me to be careful? Wangbadan, you stand there, you lie to my face, your hands give out this money. Do you understand what this means? It means choosing hunger or cleanliness. It means feeling like nothing, less than human. Kanama Dishyaren, does your conscience ever speak to you, or is it as empty as your promises?
Miss Lynn almost laughed. A bitter sound, the audacity, the sheer unmitigated gall, his talk of government, of rules, hollow, your office, your signature, your decision. You are the face of this cruelty. Here now, this $11, this pittance. It was a weight, crushing them, stealing their sleep, their hope, their dignity, a small joy or a bitter reality. She saw the flicker again in his eyes. He knew. He had to know. The human cost. She leaned closer. Her voice dropped, intense.
You are responsible, Mr. O'Malley. You and Key Point Health Services. Your choices, your actions. They have power.
Each word a stone, the power to help, the power to harm. And they were choosing harm. Every week, with every insulting $11 allowance. This had to stop. It would stop.
Mr. O'Malley's face hardened. A mask slipped on. The fear vanished, or was buried deeper. My job, he said, his voice cold now, clipped, is to follow the directives given to me.
He was a soldier taking orders, no questions asked. That was his shield, his justification.
I don't make the rules, Miss Lynn, but he enforced them with a certain satisfaction. She could see it, the small man, enjoying his small power. Everyone's got complaints. He waved a dismissive hand as if her pain was trivial, common, unimportant. Life's tough, that's just how it is here.
He was telling her to accept her fate, to endure the injustice silently. But silence was a sickness. It festered. She would not be sick with silence anymore. Her anger was a medicine, a cleansing fire. It would burn through his indifference.
He squared his shoulders, trying to look imposing. I'm the one who distributes this allowance. His voice took on a harder edge, a possessive tone. I decide how things are run around here, a petty king on a petty throne. And frankly, your attitude isn't helping.
He was blaming her, the victim, for his discomfort, for the ugliness she forced him to see, his control. That's what this was about.
You'd be wise to remember that, a veiled threat. His eyes narrowed, a glint of malice. Cooperation makes things smoother for everyone. Smoother for him, easier for him. He wanted her compliance, her submission. Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
He implied consequences, retribution if she dared to push further, if she fought, but she was already pushing, she was already fighting.
Harder? Miss Lynn's voice was dangerously soft. Harder for whom, Mr. O'Malley? Not for her. It was already hard, unbearable. For you? Is your comfort threatened?
His petty power, his fragile authority. She saw through him, his bluster, his fear. He was afraid of her, of what she represented. Truth, justice, a reckoning. She would not back down. Not now.
I will not be silent. Her resolve firmed, steel in her spine, fire in her eyes. I will fight this for myself.
And for every soul trapped in this place, betrayed by this system, by men like him.
For every person you try to diminish. Her voice rose, resonating in the small room. A promise, a vow, a declaration of war. The fight for dignity had begun. Here. She pointed a trembling finger at him. Your actions. They will have consequences.
He could not hide forever. No one could.
For you, Mr. O'Malley, and for Key Point. The name of the facility. A place of supposed care. Now a symbol of neglect, of injustice. Wangbadan. The curse was a judgment, delivered with all the force of her conviction.
He flinched just a little, but she saw.
This is not the end. Her voice was clear, strong, no longer trembling but filled with purpose. This is just the beginning of it. She held his gaze, unflinching, unyielding. Let him see the storm in her eyes. Let him understand she would not break. She would not be silenced. She would not yield. Justice would come. She would bring it.
She turned, her back straight, and walked out. The door clicked shut. Silence descended, heavy. Mr. O'Malley sat, stunned. The air still vibrated. Miss Lynn's words echoed, accusations, threats, promises. He tried to compose himself, to appear unfazed, but his hands shook, just slightly. Her fury, it had touched him. Burned him. He was a bureaucrat, a follower of rules, but today he felt like something else, a target. A symbol of a broken trust.
The $11 allowance, such a small sum, yet it represented so much more. A measure of worth, of dignity, of care, or the lack thereof. A gaping void.
Key Point Health Services. What was its true purpose? To heal or to manage, to control? These questions hung, unanswered in the stale air. Miss Lynn had ripped away the polite veneer, exposing the raw, uncomfortable truth beneath.
Outside his office, the facility hummed, a low murmur of routine, of resignation. But something had shifted, a subtle change. Whispers would follow Miss Lynn's stand, hope, perhaps, in some, fear in others. Had she spoken for them, for their silent despair? A single voice, but clear and strong.
Could one woman's anger ignite a fire? Could it force a change long overdue? Key Point Health Services, its name now a question, its practices under a sudden harsh light. The administration, would they listen, would they act, or would they try to crush this dissent, to silence Miss Lynn, to make an example?
The power struggle was far from over. Miss Lynn's fight for justice had just begun, and its ripples would spread, far beyond these walls. The standoff's shadow was long and uncertain,